Okay, let's start recording this thing. Hey, little chat in Discord, remember, you're gonna be on screen now, so behave yourselves, would you? I haven't been demonetized by you people yet, but that's not to say it couldn't happen. Forgive the... I think I got a little frog in my throat or something. You're just gonna have to live with it, because I don't edit these things. But yeah... Amazing Digital Circus Episode 2 Candy Carrier Chaos. Curious. So a lot of people in the comments, well, I say a lot of people, the people who could see the video at this point, because it's not live to the public yet, but a bunch of the people have been saying, oh hey, episode 1 was just the teaser, it was just the pilot. Episode 2, wow, the animation gets so much better. Episode 3, like, that apparently the quality and the polish of the show escalates quite substantially after the first episode. Ostensibly. And that's interesting to hear, because I thought the first episode, for being independent animation released on YouTube, was already, like, it was already pretty up there, in terms of polish, in terms of just the sheer number. That's something I don't know that I talked about in the last one. Just the sheer number of fucking assets they had to generate. That's another thing, is like, a bunch of what's in there probably could be bought on 3D asset stores of various kinds. Like certainly that's, I assume that's where they got the escalator, for example, was like from a 3D asset store. But they still had to make a lot of things. Like that's part of, like, that's one of the things about, like, 3D animation is, like, if you want a 3D animated object, you do have to build it first, right? It's not like with, like, one of the advantages 2D animation has is you can just draw a background, right? And it's like, then you have the background, and it's like, okay, cool. But if you want a 3D model of something, that whole ass 3D model needs to be built somewhere. And if you want that 3D model to move, or do things, or animate in some way, well, then that 3D model also needs to have a rigging attached to it so that you can manipulate it, right? So there's... 2D and 3D animation have, like, different levels of convenience on different aspects of what they do, right? Which is one of the interesting differences in, like, between the mediums, is, like, they share so many fundamentals, but there are parts of, like, the production pipeline that are so different between these two styles of production. And there are good reasons why so much animation defaults to 3D nowadays, because once you have the asset, then you can reuse it on everything, everywhere, forever, right? Once you have built the asset, once it has an animation rig, once it can do the things you want to do, then you can reuse it forever. So you can, like, every time you make a new episode, if you want, oh, we want a different angle on this background, okay, just change the camera angle on the background, because the background is rendered and fully modeled, so you can just do that, which is something that 2D animation struggles to do. But on the other hand, 2D animation doesn't have to, okay, we would like to have the character playing with this object and manipulating it, so we need to build the whole object in a 3D animation software and rig it so that it can do the things that the character wants to do, and then, like, a 2D animator can just kind of go, oh yeah, I'm just going to draw that. I'm just going to, woo! Like, there are differences in the levels of convenience. So that's interesting. Like, that the relatively high level of production quality, the relatively high level of just sheer number of assets on screen in episode 1, apparently it gets even better from here. That interests me. So, publishing schedule, I should probably talk about at some point before I go off into a bunch of nonsense. I'm not 100% sure how I'm publishing these episodes yet. Right now, in my head, the idea is that I'm going to try and record as many of them as I possibly can, as fast as possible. I'll put them all up for members, and then they'll slowly go live one by one to the public. That's the idea in my head. So, by the time this goes live to the public, maybe all 5 currently available episodes are there already, for all that I know. I'm not sure. It sort of depends, because I've got a holiday coming up where I'll be leaving the country, and I've got a bunch of stuff I need to get done before that. So the question is whether I can get that done before my holiday, and if I can't, then maybe I should just release the first couple of episodes that I have already and then do the batch of the rest. I don't know. I'm planning it out. I'm figuring it out. But whatever the case, probably a lot of early access for these ones. Probably. I don't know. I don't have a strong plan. I wish I did, but I don't. So let's watch the episode, shall we? That's a lovely little intro. Well, see now, okay, so there, that almost looks like a different rig, actually. So there's a lot of motion blur going on here, right? But here's the interesting thing. I don't mind it here. Because here, what we're doing here, you can see all that chromatic aberration, like the pixelation, like the sort of low resolution nonsense that's going on here. This is mimicking the aesthetics of TV. Specifically, it looks like it's mimicking sort of the aesthetics of like a late 90s, early 2000s, like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network sort of bumper kind of thing. And so it feels like the blur here is supposed to, because you can see they're doing sort of a chromatic aberration thing, right? Like where you have blue on one side and red on the, or magenta on the other. It feels like they're doing that. And for the purposes of mimicking that aesthetic, I am substantially more okay with motion blur, because it specifically is designed to mimic the operation of a camera here, or like a TV in this case. And that's more okay with me than when we are in the actual episode. Because I think even within the scope of an actual episode of this show, this level of motion blurring on the characters might be a bit fucking much. That's a really good little animation. Like, look at the delay in the way, like, as Caine spins up, right? And completely rubber hoses himself out. The tongue just appears. Something vaguely disturbing about the way his tongue just appears from nowhere. It doesn't even come from his throat, right? Like, it's not like it's a tentacle extending out of his body. It just sort of appears and grows and inflates itself. But I really like the coyote time here, that he reaches the peak of his jump, right? Like his upwards momentum reaches its peak here, and then slowly gravity begins to reassert itself. First with like the boxes in the background, and then you can see how his lower body, specifically his ass, seems to be like getting affected by gravity first, and it sort of pulls everything else along with it. And I really like the way that they're using the eyes and the tongue to really emphasize the stretch there. That's quite good. Anyway.
Welcome to the amazing digital circus!
Pomni.
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 That's some lovely effects animation. There's something a little bit mid-2000s, early 2010s Pixar about it. Like the approach to like the pure black with like the little graphical. Like, it's very Ratatouille, right? In the way that we're sort of like the way that those movies started to experiment with overlaying 2D animation over top of 3D animation the way that they did. It has a little bit of that vibe. But then this bit is where we sort of return more to the video game aesthetic of movement, because this looks like hit stun effects in a fighting game, essentially. That's interesting.
Hello?
Oh, what the hell? Are we doing fucking... We're doing scanline thing, so... That wobbliness that they're doing here is an artifact of interlaced video, right? It's an artifact of once upon a time, back when we were still doing VHS and we were still doing very low resolution television, one way that you could get more video data onto a videotape was by interlacing the video frames, which is to say that you only have half of a frame of video in, and not just VSH, like early digital video as well. You have half of a frame and then 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 half of a frame, right? And that half of the frame would be arranged in lines, right? Like, so each frame would only have half of the lines of the video. And you would interlace those lines with each other in order to, like, create a visual illusion of flow and an image that, especially in a low-resolution screen, looked fine. Like, looked like, okay, the video is playing back normally, because it was taking advantage of, like, the continuity of motion that our eyes impose on this kind of footage. But then if you try to properly digitize that video, or you try to digitize it in a format that was not interlaced, you would get artifacts, like, you would get these stair-stepping artifacts in your video files, because they were rendering each half of the frame, right? Bit by bit. And so what they seem to be doing here is that this is not how that kind of interlacing artifact... This is not how that kind of interlacing artifact would actually look in actual video. They're using it as a visual effect as like as an aspect of surreality, right? Of surrealness. And that's really fucking cool. Because, like, in proper interlacing, it wouldn't be this slow, right? Like, the progressive, like, the scan of the scan lines across an image wouldn't be this slow. It goes so fast that your eyes don't detect it. That's the point. And the artifacts only show up in, like, digital formats that can actually display them.
Hello?
Already abstracted.
Well, I guess we're not all cut out for it.
I don't even remember her name, honestly.
So we can still dream in the digital circus, then. We can certainly still have nightmares. Very good. So we're using those interlacing artifact things as basically a way to emphasize that this is unreal. I think maybe also depends. I wonder how much Pomni's relationship with her body comes up as like a central thing about her. Because that, like using the interlacing effect in that way, that definitely also has the aspect of, like, derealization, right? Or like, dissociation from your body, right? That your body feels like this wobbly unthing that only vaguely responds to your interiority. What a way to do a blink. And then, again, we are doing the rack zoom, right? Like, we're doing the dolly zoom thing.
No! Kane! Somebody help me! Please!
Interesting that once the derealization artifact thing sets in, that's when we drop the interlacing. Still doing the motion blur, but that's when we drop the interlacing as like a visual thing.
abstracted.
These are interesting too, the shadow puppets. Because, like, how would you do those for 3D animation? I would have to imagine they use the same rigs and just, like make them pitch black with, like, no surface reflections or whatever. And then add either some translucencies or just animate the facial features on top of it for Jax and Ragatha. I would be curious, because, like, especially with Caine's dialogue, because, like, Caine is weird with his lip sync at the best of times, right? Because we talked about that with the mouth. So when you're doing him as a shadow puppet, sort of hyper flat thing like this, and you're still trying to do the lip sync, which is impressive to still be trying to do that. I wonder if they just animated him as normal, or if they took extra special care to never fully close the mouth. Because in order for him to read, his silhouette to read, he kind of needs the eyeballs in the middle of the mouth, and if they were fully obscured for too long, I don't know. I wonder about that. I would love to know. Because definitely, like, if you look at the way he's posed, right, like, again, Caine as a character so far, at least in the pilot, right? I've only seen the pilot, so not like I'm an expert on the character. He had a tendency to be very all over the place with his motion and movement. But here, because he's projected as this flat image on a two-dimensional plane, he's kind of fly-swatted, right? Like, he's not really moving three-dimensionally. He's not, like, he had that thing in the first episode where he, like, really played with perspective and, like, pointed deep into the camera and, like constantly shifted, like, it's a Z position, I guess, like his Z axis to be closer to and further away from the camera, and, like, he would really play with that. Here, he's kind of not moving very much at all because he's maintained as a flat silhouette, right? So it's just these fairly understated motions from him, frankly, that work on a 2D plane. And you can see the same thing with Ragatha, right? Like, none of the animation here relies on foreshortening. It all relies entirely on black and white, like, on fully two-dimensional flat plane motion to come across.
Already abstracted.
Well, I guess we're not all cut out for it.
I don't even remember her name, honestly.
The funny thing about this scene is that, like, clearly Caine and Ragatha is like, okay, they're acting a little bit odd. Well, maybe not Caine. Ragatha is. She's acting kind of opposite to her terminally people-pleasing way. But Jax is just like, no, that's him. He would say that. In this exact situation, it feels like that's exactly what this dipshit would say. It's like, I don't remember her name. Who cares? Like... I find it a little funny that the effect here is essentially the same as, like, that's all, folks. And then, like, the little cartoon aperture closes, except here it's terrifying. Interesting cross-cut from Pomni's circus tent eyes to the eyes of Abstraction. Because they're not pointing in the same direction. Probably not more than just a flash frame for impact, right? I'm just wondering if that's... It sort of depends on what abstraction is, right? It depends on what abstraction means in the context of the interior logic of the Amazing Digital Circus. Like, because abstraction seems, at least in part, to be connected to derealization, like to a rejection of the reality that you live in, and a deep desperation to escape into something that will feel more real, right? Which, again, it's that question of, like, how much of this connects to themes of alienation, or themes of existential absurdity. Like, this is very, like, a lot of what's going on here feels sort of Jean-Paul Sartre-coded. Very hell is other people-esque. I'm curious about that. I'm curious, like, again, I don't know enough about where this is going to assign meaning to this imagery yet. So I guess the thing that happens here is that she falls out of bed, collides with the brick, and then, yeah, clips into it. That's what happens. She clips into it, collision bug, and then cartoons happen. Well, probably happen. Somewhere in there's a cartoon happening underneath all the blur. Again, I'm very curious about the Gmod thing. Because, like, we talked about, like the aesthetic of the show is drawing from a whole bunch of different things, right? It's drawing from late 90s, early 2000s, like, multimedia, like, entertainment CD-ROM things. It's drawing from very early period 3D animated children's shows. It's drawing from all of that, but then there's that element of the modern that keeps asserting itself. Like, for example, like the escalator in the previous episode, right? Like the way that there were all these different odd aesthetics within the world of the digital circus that sort of had different fidelities, right? That existed on different levels of technical sophistication. And now we're doing, like, and then there's the Gmod thing. Because, like, these kinds of collision bugs, it's not only the source engine that does it, but the source engine is certainly the most famous example of these kinds of collision bugs. But it's a feature of physics engines, right? It's a feature of fairly advanced computing, certainly relative to the aesthetic place that the show is drawing from. And I'm curious about that. I'm curious about that mixing of periods, like whether that means anything, that this is technology that has the capacity to do these kinds of physics bugs. And if that's meaningful to the world that these people find themselves in. Because it is like virtual reality. I put on a headset, but we saw The Office with the headset, and it looked very, again, late 90s implementation of what VR used to be back then, right? I'm curious. I'm wondering. I'm wondering which aspects of the idiosyncrasies here are meaningful and which ones are just a joke, right? Like, it's a physics engine because we are inside of a computer and it's not any deeper than that, or it's a physics engine because we're actually commenting something on, like, the meaning of these digital bugs and what that means for a sense of reality. Because that door is straight the fuck out of, like, straight the fuck out of a Bullfrog game right there.
Hey,
You haven't spelled out anything funny in these things, perchance, have you? No, but the letters are kind of fucked up. That's not what a Q looks like from any angle.
Hey, Pomni, how'd you sleep? Are you still sleeping? I'll let you get back to it if you are. There she is. Hope you're doing all right. I know yesterday was a bit of a doozy.
You're blaming yourself for it, aren't you? Right now, you're standing there as like, yesterday was a bit of a doozy because I was a stupid idiot who got in trouble and you had to help me. Oh my god, I'm sure that sure was my fault. I'm really sorry about that. Oh boy.
Back to it if you are.
Has Ragatha's physics modeling changed since the first episode?
Hey.
It feels a bit like her hair and skirt are livelier. Again, I'd have to compare directly, but it kind of feels like maybe they've gotten a little bit more motion in them. Like they've changed the physics settings on the secondary motion that's being generated by the engine they're working with.
How'd you sleep? Are you still sleeping?
They don't hand animate her hair wobbles, right? Like, surely not.
Are you still sleeping? I'll let you get back to it if you are. There she is. Hope you're doing all right. I know yesterday was a bit of a doozy.
A doozy.
Oh, and don't worry about the whole abandoning me for the exit thing. It's perfectly understandable what you were going through at the time, and there's no hard feelings.
There are definitely hard feelings.
You're all good. Well, let's forget about all that. Kane's got a new adventure today, and judging by what he's been teasing, it seems like it's gonna be a fun one.
Oh, Ragatha. Oh, the poor girl. It's like yesterday, Kane's adventure nearly fucking killed her, and then she's like, it's gonna be a fun one. We're gonna have a good time today. Everything's gonna be cool.
Kane's got a new adventure today, and judging...
Yeah, they've definitely changed something about how they do her walk cycle. Look at the hip sway. Right? You see the little rotational thing they're doing with the skirt to indicate, like, the rotation of hips under there? I don't think they did that in the pilot. But it adds, like, a real... If she wasn't such a... Like, if she wasn't such a nervous mess, it's almost like she's strutting, right? Like, it's a little bit of sassiness, almost, in her walk cycle. That's interesting. It does feel like it works, like, because one of the things about Ragatha, right? Like, the way that she's put together is she's always walking on her toes. Like, by necessity, because she doesn't have feet, right? Like, so she's always walking on her tippy toes, which is kind of the same way that you end up walking when you're walking in high heels. Like, so I can definitely see that as an expression of the way that, like, just the fact that she's always kind of has to go do a high heel walk a little bit, or a tiptoe walk. I can see that, like, being expressed through the hips like that. That's interesting. Another thing I've talked about a lot is, like, so much of who a character is exists in their idle animation, right? And, like, idle animation is a thing from gaming, right? Like, that's, you leave a 3D character alone, what do they do when you're not controlling them? And they'll have some kind of idle animation. It's a great place to tell the audience who a person is, right? By what they do when they don't have anything else to do. In character animation, it's sort of the same thing. In narrative animation, is like a lot of the communication you want to give about who a character is. It's not just in the acting motions and the stuff that they do when they're talking or dialoguing or doing things. A lot of it is also in when they're not doing anything, when they don't have anything to do, when they're bored, when they're idle, when they're not engaged in a scene. How do they relate to themselves and their bodies, right? Like, that's a great place to find characterization. And walk cycles are a great place to do characterization, like the way a character moves through the world. Because, like, you look at Ragatha's sort of little happy, like, everything's fine, everything's cool, it's the new adventure, it's a new day, and it's gonna be good, and we're all gonna be happy. And the way that she's, like, has this cheerful attitude, and then Pomni's way of entering the scene is, like, holding on to the door frame. And immediately, like, hands up, knock-kneed, terrified, hunched over, looking around, basically constantly searching for some kind of threat. And you can see the difference in their personalities there, right? Or not necessarily their personalities, but the difference in how they move through the world, right? Bisexual finger guns, really.
abandoning me for the exit thing. It's perfectly understandable what you were going through at the time, and there's no hard feelings. You're all good.
Pomni just not in a position to even process. What? Huh? And I wonder about this reaction shot. That, right? When Pomni doesn't respond to being forgiven. I wonder if that's her feeling another pang of internal shame at Pomni not saying everything's okay. Or if Ragatha was trying to set Pomni up to offer her an apology for it. Right, like in that way of like, you have an issue with someone, but because you can't face the idea of confronting them about it and actually asking for what you need, which is an apology or a conversation about the thing that happened. So instead of doing that, you go to them and say, I forgive you preemptively for the thing that you did, which is fine. It's completely fine that you did that. I have no hard feelings about it. And then you are sort of hoping to prompt them to say, "Oh my God, I did that. I'm so sorry about that." But then but you have already diffused the conflict without actually verbalizing your needs, right? By being servile, by being of service to the other person, by saying, "Hey, don't worry about that thing. That thing you did, don't worry about it. It's completely fine." And then they can say, "Oh my God, I didn't realize I did that thing. I'm so sorry." And then you can diffuse and resolve the conflict without ever having to actually verbalize that you would like an apology for the thing that happened, right? That's a very sort of people pleaser kind of thing of like, rather than have the conversation, you sort of try to take responsibility for the problem ahead of time, and then you sort of hope that the other person will treat that as a prompt to like re-examine their behavior, but without making demands, right? Like I'm not demanding an apology. I'm not asking for you to apologize. I'm not asking for you to feel bad. It would just be nice if you did. It would be nice if you noticed that you hurt me. But I'm not going to say that because I don't want to express that, because that's putting a demand on you and that's unreasonable of me. I wonder about that. Because Ragatha certainly seems to be like 100% denial, right? 100% repression and denial. Nothing's wrong, everything's fine if I just keep a positive, upbeat attitude and I don't make a fuss and I don't make a nuisance of myself, then things will be okay. And I can just kind of get through things without causing problems, and then I'll get to live another day without, you know.
Oh, let's forget about all that. Kane's got a new adventure today, and judging by what he's been teasing, it seems like it's gonna be a fun one.
Today's adventure is Candy Carrier Chaos! That's right, the Candy Canyon Kingdom's been robbed of their most valuable resource, maple syrup! It's up to you to bring the rotten bandits who stole it.
That thing is from the Amazing Digital That thing is. Oh, no. I know about these things. I've seen, like, a few bits of fan art have floated their way across. That's where they're from? Oh, okay. Well, all right then. Yeah, this is the thing I was talking about with this silhouette version of him, right? Notice just how much otherwise Caine relies on foreshortening and twisting and, like, crossing his volumes in front of each other. An interesting element that seems to be introduced here a little bit, I wonder if it's consistent or if it's just a gag for the moment, is the independence of his cane. Right. Candy Carrier Chaos! And then he lets go of it and it kind of floats out of reach. And he looks over and he grabs onto it.
The Candy Canyon Kingdom's been robbed of their most valuable...
And there it happens again, right? Like, he lets go of it, it sort of floats off, and then he's like, oh, grab it, hold on to it. And then it happens again, right? Like, where he lets go of it, it floats. He has that little look down, grabs it and holds onto it. Now, that to me is like, if it happens once maybe, and a character does something with a prop, then it's just a thing. If it happens twice, then you kind of go, oh. And if it happens 3 times, it's like, okay, this is a pattern now, right? Thrice is a pattern, which again begs the question of, does it matter? Caine's name is Caine, and he has a cane. And now he seems to have like a little running bit about constantly sort of remembering to hold on to it. I don't know. I don't know if that's meaningful. I just noticed that the animation is making a point out of his relationship with the thing all of a sudden in a way that I don't think it did in the first episode. I don't think so, at least.
Carrier Chaos! That's right. The Candy Canyon Kingdom's been robbed of their most valuable resource, maple syrup! It's up to you to bring the rotten bandits.
Because as a physical gesture, and again, I don't know if this is meaningful. I don't know if it's just this scene, if it's gonna matter at all. But as a physical, again, it's that thing about like how does a character interact with objects is a great way of accessing their personality. So it feels like it will be a good way to signify being a control freak, right? Like, which is something we've already sort of seen with Caine, is like he's very obsessed with having eyes on and having control over his subjects and his playthings. That's very important to him. So this could just be like, oh, this thing's floating and I don't have a grip on it. Grab it! Like, it cannot float for more than a minute without me having control over where it is. As a bit of characterization for him. Again, I would love to see an alternate camera angle on what the fuck his rig looks like when his hand is doing that.
Maple syrup! It's up to you to bring the rotten bandits who stole it to sweet, buttery justice.
An entire kingdom of candy sounds sticky.
Very sticky indeed.
Sounds.
Bubble, you can't say that.
That was very good delivery.
Bubble, you can't say that.
Bubble, you can whatever Bubble said shocks even him. Interestingly, no censorship thing on top of Bubble's mouth there. I guess because we can't lip read what the fuck that thing is saying.
Bubble, you can't say that.
Nope.
So wait! I'm testing out a new AI in this one.
The way that deform his eyeballs sometimes is like, oh man. Why does it look like his eyes have nipples, right? It's like just the shape language of it.
Testing out a new AI in this one. It should be 57 times more immersive.
Ooh, a new AI. You don't want to mess with the new AI, Zuby?
Yeah, no. Well, sounds fun. What do you think, Pomni?
No, it doesn't. Nothing here sounds fun. You are trapped in an existential horror nightmare.
So, our entire
Oh, hey! You got your smile back.
existence here is just LARPing.
Well,
Why are you all just standing there? The Candy Canyon Kingdom needs you now.
No thanks, I'm trying to quit.
well,
Why are you all just standing there? The Candy Canyon Kingdom needs you now. Standing there. The Candy.
Yeah, there's an interesting nervousness to Caine. Like, it's not just about control. It's almost like he's on the lookout for something as well. Like, he's looking over his shoulder all the time. As though he's worried about something as well, if things don't happen. Then there are consequences for him.
Your existence here is just LARPing.
Well,
Why are you all just standing there? The Candy Canyon Kingdom needs you now!
Oh, it's Kinger and Jax that are being brought along. Is Zubel in there somewhere? I can't tell because of the motion blur! Interesting now that the Caine is completely steady in the air without floating away from him.
No thanks, I'm trying to quit.
Oh, that's a lot of pink. You know, candy can have other colors than pink, right? Oh, those things. Why are those the NPCs at the Candy King Candy the whatever this place is? Don't seem very candy-like. Those are wooden figures. Huh. I mean, I guess because they are generic NPCs, right? Like, because these are characters with no character design, essentially. In the same way that they seem to be placeholders for the doors of the various people who've been sucked into this universe. They're placeholders for that. I guess they're also just... because they were also present in the cafe scene with Caine and Bubble in the first episode before he went to get Pomni from the Void. So are these just like generic NPCs when Caine doesn't have anything better to put in a scene? I wonder. Because, like, if he didn't have time to model even a single goddamn NPC, he sure did have time to model some elaborate-ass motherfucking sets and stages and level designs. Although, still, with that, again, there is that late 90s tech demo thing still, with just an orb hovering in space for no reason. Because, again, in, like, those early 3D rendering demonstrations and stuff, when they... as we talked about in the pilot, they would use just a bunch of like generic geometric objects. Orbs, especially, were often used as a way to show off, oh, we can do specular highlights. Oh, we can do all these reflections in the surface of a sphere that are very complicated and impressive. And so you would get a lot of landscapes in these things where there's just an orb hanging in the air somewhere, doing reflections to look impressive.
wow, Kinger, check out this castle. It's amazing.
They've even got little...
Did we just see him fucking die? Did we just witness a murder? See, because that's interesting, because when you're doing animation for a huge crowd of characters like this, right? The way you usually want to do it is you make 2 or 3, like, the smallest number of like, looping animations you can, like clapping, like jumping with your hands up kind of vibe. And then you just copy-paste those animations on as many of the characters as you can so that you don't have to individually animate them. Because that's, you know, down that road lights madness and death. Unless you're Studio Ghibli, in which case you individually animate every single member of a crowd every single fucking time, because they're madmen over there. So, like, there's a bunch of recycled and looping animations that these characters are playing back. Like that jumping animation there that's shared. The clapping, the swaying that some of the figures are doing. The jumping. And mostly these are all just like recycled, copy-pasted animations, except for purple puppet murdering teal puppet there in the background. Like, outside of that, everyone's just doing sort of generic idle animations. But then we get that one little tableau of an actual... Oh, I see.
Wow, Kinger, check out this castle. It's amazing.
They've even got little candy bugs here. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, this place is great.
It's the princess!
Ah, I see. It's a bit. We're doing a bit. We're doing a... It's... All right. Okay, I get it. Yeah, we're doing a bit.
Yes!
Ah, you must be the brave knight sent to us by God to help us with our...
Oh boy. By God, you say?
Yeah, this place is great.
It's the princess!
Does no one want to at least try and reattach the head?
It's the princess!
Ah, you must be the brave knight.
Why did she look vaguely different from... Oh, no, it's her eyelashes, I guess.
Ah, you must be the brave knight sent to us by God to help us with our
God.
recent catastrophe.
Imagine having a god that looks like that, honestly.
That's us, ma'am. Your kingdom's awesome, by the way. Love the vibe. I like you already. Look, Pomni, we're already friends with the princess.
I'm not a child. You don't have to hype me up.
I assume you've been informed of your mission. The bandits that robbed us use a modded syrup tanker, so we figured the best way to go head-to-head with them is to give you a war rig of your own.
I feel like the vibe shifted. Fully on some Mad Max shit immediately.
Mission. The bandits that robbed us use a modded syrup tanker, so we figured the best way to go head-to-head with them is...
I do like her character design, though. Like, using, like, these, I guess, candied orange slices to form the hair, and then giving her a jaunty little, like, hair swoop. Like that. Like, this is very sort of Wreck-It Ralph-ass Candy Racer's character design, in the sense that they very specifically constructed her out of things that are candy associated.
to give you a war rig of your own.
I like, again, the animation of the crowds here. Right, these are all just suddenly standing to attention like soldiers. Dancing. That one's trying to warn yellow guy.
Ooh, violence.
What time period is this supposed to be again?
Here's the key back into the kingdom for when you've secured the goods. I trust you not to let it fall into the wrong hands.
Literary foreshadowing is a device in which...
You can count on me, Your Highness.
Foreshadowing is a literary
Oh,
device, whatever.
please, call me Lou. Will do, Lou.
I call shotgun.
That's not shotgun, dude.
Oh God, is that the horn? Ugh, that sucks.
That's not shotgun. If you're in the driver's seat, that's not shotgun, dude.
Is this supposed to be again?
Here's the key back into the kingdom for when you've secured the goods. I trust you not to let it fall into the wrong hands.
Again, I keep fixating on the background NPCs, right? How all of a sudden, now that they don't have a cheer to be doing,
The goods. I trust
they're
you
just
not to let it
standing
fall
there
into the wrong
swaying.
hands. You can count on me, Your Highness. Oh, please, call me Lou. Will do, Lou.
I call shotgun.
Seriously, Jax, that's not shotgun. How do you not know what shotgun is?
Oh God, is that the horn? Ugh, That sucks. Gangle, you drive.
Now it's shotgun.
Farewell, good knights. I have every faith in you.
Do you think your mum's gonna pull through if we get all this back to the village?
I'm sure she will. This much syrup would save hundreds of people.
We won't know for sure until we get back to the village. She's a fighter, though. She taught me everything I know.
Right, so we're immediately introducing the twist, which is that these people are only stealing it to save their families. And presumably that the princess is a monarch, same as monarchs everywhere, hoarding resources for her own, whatever. Yeah. It is a very funny idea to fucking have trucks and industrial equipment made out of candy like that. Like, and not whimsical, funny trucks, but like trucks that have the visual profile of like actual big riggers. What are they burning and why is it blue? Oh, interesting. That's an odd way to do flames. I guess it makes sense, but... yeah, because it's 1, 2, fade. Yeah, so in between the flames, which are moving on ones, occasionally you get these insert frames where you can see that it's like a transparency effect that's cycling through. That's interesting. To me, anyway. What an interesting way to do fire.
Do you think your mum's gonna pull through if we get all this back to the village?
I'm sure she will. This much syrup would save hundreds of people.
What are they doing here exactly with those eggs?
Do you think your mum's gonna...
Were they trying to cut the top off them, or... were they whittling them? What are they doing with the eggs?
Do you think your mum's gonna pull through if we get all this back to the...
Certainly, that character has no knife discipline. Like, dude, there's someone sitting next to you. He had to parry you the first time.
Do you think your mum's gonna pull through if we get all this back to the village?
I'm sure she will. This much syrup would save hundreds of people.
We won't know for sure until we get back to the village.
We won't know for sure until we get back. Again with the floating orbs, yeah.
She's a fighter, though. She taught me everything I know. Oi! Don't get too comfy, lads. Looks like they've sent someone after us.
Ooh. Speed lines. Camera distortion. It is an interesting dissonance, right? Like, that the thing is made of candy, right? It's made of sugar and candy and all things sweet and good, but then it also has, like, these brutal-looking fucking blades on the bumper and spikes over the fucking wheel well. It's an interesting thing to, like, that's the thing, like, contrasting the industrial brutality of this kind of machinery versus the brittleness and the fineness of candy as a thing.
All right, Gangle. When we catch up to them, I'll jump over, crawl inside, and shoot them repeatedly until they're unrecognizable.
And also guns. Okay, we're also doing murder. Straight up murder.
I feel like that violates some kind of convention.
You're violating my ears with your clapback. Get driving, driver.
So, Pomni, I'm sure there's some way you could help out here. Maybe when we catch up to them, we could...
Gotta be assertive. Like this.
Hey! Jax?
Oh, we're we're literally just fucking doing Mad Max Fury Road shit. Huh. I wonder if that was a rendering bug that his eye did that.
Some kind of convention.
You're violating my ears with your clapback. Get driving, driver.
So, Pomni, I'm sure there's some way you could help out here. Maybe when we catch up to them, we could...
Be assertive. Like this.
Huh. Interesting. Is that is that fully like a swap in the model rig or in the texturing? I guess it would be. Like Pomni's teeth, right? Like as she does the expression the first time, they're more detailed. You have the gum line, but then eventually when she swaps over, you can see she swaps over to having like just flat white bracket teeth. Interesting.
Jax! Jax!
Ah, that's perfect. Just hold that pose. I gotta get something.
Oh, hey, the censorship is back.
You know, I swear there was some kind of bazooka back here, but I'm having such trouble finding it.
Pomni, take this!
Here it is. All right, Pomni, you just stay like that, and I'll cross over.
Are you kidding me?
Nice going, Pomni. Now I have no bridge.
Aha! Gotcha!
The arms aren't long enough.
Did you just fucking... fucking Tony Hawk ass. Okay, yeah. Oh my god. Isn't that just what life feels like these days? You're strung out between two extremely fast-moving catastrophes hurtling towards their final destination, then someone just throws some... Like, here, I have a solution. That's the Democrats' sternly worded letter. But what I'm interested in is Pomni's model here. Yeah, literally they're doing the thing as she's getting pulled apart. It pulls her legs up into her body. And she sort of becomes a chibi, basically. Like her whole body sort of gets stretched into itself.
You know, I swear there was...
Just more and more gremlin as time goes on. Again, some wonderful cartoony distortions that I can't really see. This would make for great profile pictures if I could see them! Just lovely cartooning happening here, though.
Nice going, Pomni. Now I have no bridge.
Aha! Gotcha!
The arms aren't long enough.
This lot's trouble. Let's see how that rig does on those rocks round there.
My arms aren't short enough to shift the gear.
Ooh, now we're cooking. Hey, Ribbons, up and at 'em.
I don't think we...
Aren't you supposed to be submissive and agreeable? Move it!
He has chicken head stabilization? Okay.
This lot's trouble. Let's see how that rig does on.
There's something interesting about the way they render the... Yeah, they keep it apart just... That's an interesting way to do it. Yes, hello, Apollo. Hi. Hi, baby boy. Yes, okay, yes. Hi. Hi, sweet man. Hi, sweet man. Yes. So, he has made a habit of sleeping on my chest. Get your ass out of my face. And now he wants to sleep on my chest. No. No. Monster. Yes, there we go. Down. Oh my god. You can have a nap later. So anyway, so the alligator fellas here, right? There's the zigzag thing where their mouth is, right? Which is like that's the shape of their jaw. Interestingly, they're keeping a little tiny space actually open where they carved away on the 3D model. And that does emphasize the zigzag cut.
Let's see how that rig does on those rocks round there.
My arms aren't short enough to shift the gear.
And it does emphasize the zigzag, right? Like, it does give a little bit more of a line separation. Which, like, I wonder if that's meant to sort of simulate or evoke a form of graphic design.
This lot's trouble. Let's...
So again, lip sync, right? So these guys don't have lips in the traditional sense, much in the way that Caine doesn't, right? And where he deforms the dentures to create like vowel sounds like ooh, ah, ee, like and all that. These guys do something a little differently. They mostly lip flap, but then whenever
see how that rig. See how that rig.
When we want to say something like how, right? Like that forward lip push that forms that particular vowel. You can see it's like the whole back of the neck basically sort of shifts forward to do that forward vowel push to give them that.
Yeah, that rig does on those rocks around there.
Like, especially here, you can see that it's the entire lower jaw that just, like, compresses forward.
Rig does on those rocks. Those rocks around. On those rocks. On those rocks around.
So, like, for those rocks.
On those rocks around there. Those rocks around.
It's the whole entire lower jaw that compresses forward to sort of simulate
Down there. My arms aren't short enough to shift the gear.
Rocky Road. Oh, that's a fun way to animate the truck. So we are doing like animation squash and stretch on the truck, right? But literally only on the x-axis or the y-axis, whichever one is up and down, the vertical axis. Right? So you can see this wobble, this secondary motion, this squashing, anticipation, and stretching of the whole thing, but it's almost like they're sort of like just compressing and dragging the image in Photoshop, right? And oddly sort of why is his hat transparent? I think maybe they rendered the sort of flash effect in a way that intersected with his hat.
Ooh, now we're cooking. Hey, Ribbons, up and at 'em.
I don't think we...
Aren't you supposed to be submissive and agreeable?
Aren't you supposed to be submissive and agreeable, huh?
Move it!
Aw, that's sweet. Interesting serpent-like motion there. In the way that he pushes forward, right? Like, it's not just that he pushes over. There's this, he rises up, and then he sort of snakes his way across. It's like, it is a very serpentine movement, which is interesting. I wonder what the physicality... These guys are presumably, like, made of candy as well. I guess wine gum of some sort of flavor. That's just adorable. Resting his head. Aww.
Oh, these fellas just don't know when to quit, do they? Hey, quit mucking about and get back up here! Oh yeah, right.
Everyone all right?
Can you repeat the question? I couldn't hear you over the knives.
Hey,
Why
gang,
are there so many knives? Why was there a meat cleaver? Why? Why are there knives and meat cleavers in Candy World? And more to the point, if there are knives and cleavers, why aren't they made of candy? The gun is made of candy.
Hear you over the knives.
Hey, Gangle, you should ram into him.
What? You should not ram them. Pomni's still on board.
Do it. It'll be epic.
Why are there so many knives?
Fucking prank YouTuber ass.
Over the knives.
Hey, Gangle, you should ram into him.
Interestingly, yeah, like I said, like the way that Jax came across to me in the first episode was a sort of like a response to a total loss of control by spiraling into a sort of nihilism, right? Nothing matters, nothing is real. Who cares? I am distancing myself from giving a shit about anything, right? He really, though, there's definitely the vibe with him. He's acting like the protagonist of a video game. In a certain sense of it. That's kind of what he's doing. Like, that this isn't real. This isn't real violence. These aren't real people, right? Like, it's that response to this is not a real world, right? These are not real people. This is not a real thing that I'm doing. All of this is just stupid play pretend that doesn't mean anything, right? Like, that's sort of the end point of that nihilistic response to total loss of control is that, like, nothing's real, right? Nothing's real, nothing matters, I can do anything. And if I treat people with cruelty, or I, you know, abandon people or hurt people, it doesn't matter, because it's not real. It's not real, it doesn't matter. Nothing is real except I have fun right now, right? Nothing is real except my personal entertainment in this current moment, right?
Hey, Gangle, we should ram into him.
So, like, this suggestion that's coming from him here is like, it's like the id, right? It's the id talking. Hey, ram into them. Do something, like, wild and stupid for your own personal amusement without thinking of the consequences. Nothing is real, right? Like, these people aren't real. These places aren't real. The violence I'm doing isn't real. The violation I'm committing isn't real.
What? You should not ram them. Pomni's still on board.
Do it, it'll be epic.
Why are there so many knives back here?
Do it.
Yeah, why are there so many...
I'll tell Ragatha about the figurine thing.
Huh, the figurine thing.
I'll tell Ragatha about the figurine. Oh, now we're cooking. Hey, Ribbons, up and at 'em.
I don't think we...
Aren't you supposed to be submissive and agreeable? Move it!
I really do love that he has head stabilization like a chicken. Whereas poor Kinger just absolutely... Oh, it's still so cute.
Tommy's still on board.
Do it, it'll be epic.
Why are there so many knives back here?
Do it, or I'll tell Ragatha about the figurine thing.
Are you guys trying to kill me?
These guys are whack jobs. Let's give him some of this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no more ramming? Guess I have to tell Ragatha about the thing now.
Oh, he's still up here.
Guys!
Pomni, take this!
Hey, Kinger, is that rope attached to anything?
I don't know. Let me check.
Oh, boy. Okay. Poor Ragatha, man.
Let's give him some of this.
Oh, that's an interesting way to spawn them. Like, literally just spawn them. They don't even emerge out of the thing. They just sort of spawn as objects on the side of, like, where the seam is completely fucked.
Oh, no more ramming? Guess I have to tell Ragatha about the thing now.
Because you were always going to do that, because that would be funny to you in the moment, right? Yeah.
Oh, he's still up here.
Guys!
Pomni, take this!
And then we're doing, like, a way too long slow gag, right? Where the rope just keeps going and going and going and going and going, and we're setting up for the moment when it snaps.
Hey, Kinger, is that rope attached to anything?
I don't know. Let me check.
There we go. Also, Ragatha, how you doing there, girl? That's a pretty big hole you just had punched through ya. Oh no! She was holding on to the spike. And her own arms got pulled through her chest! Oh no! Oh man, that's awful! What a thing to have happen to you! Oh jeez. He's fucking Sonic posing on there.
I blame you for this.
Of course you do. Hey, teacup or a teapot. And we're in Tron now. So I guess they fell out of the bottom of the world? Yeah, they hit like collision and got squeezed in between two surface volumes and then... the teapot is there as well. Wait, is that also the teapot? Is that... It's all the teapot! Everything's the teapot!
What? What? Anyone?
Well, that's probably not something you're supposed to see, is it? So this is the idle storage space. It's where you keep the 3D models when they're not active in the game's logic, yeah. Again, we're playing with this theme of derealization, right? This idea that you're not real, right? Your feelings aren't real, the experiences you have aren't real, the people around you aren't real.
Where are we? What's all this?
I don't know. We're somewhere under the map, I think.
Map? Why aren't you or any of your crew up here?
I'm not sure. Because we're not, NPCs?
NPCs? What are you on about? What are you people? What am I? Where's Mum?
You have a mom?
Shouldn't she be here with everyone else? I can't even remember her face. Did she ever have a face? Was anything ever real?
Okay, wait. Don't think about that. I think there must be a way to launch ourselves back up, right?
I want you to tell me exactly what I am.
What does Pomni know about that, by the way? Given that she worked at that office, apparently had access to the headset, is she like a programmer? Or a game designer? Or just a gamer, I guess?
Ooh, is everybody okay?
No.
Oh, man. Poor Pomni. I hope she's all right.
Poor Pomni? How about poor us? We're one tanker away from being Augustus Gloop.
What's that? Do my eyes deceive me? A delicious gift from within the kingdom gates? Don't mind if I do.
Whoa, buddy! We're not food, we're not candy, we're none of that! You don't want to eat us!
Oh, you're not candy? How am I expected to eat something that's not made of candy? I'm sorry.
Pomni always seems to miss the big gloopy monsters.
Who are you, anyway?
I am the Fudge. I used to live within the kingdom walls, but I was banished by that rotten princess after I ate too many of the delicious townfolk. Oh, they were so delicious. Sometimes I can hear them calling
About to actually have hear screaming from inside his gut.
to me.
Oh, God. That just sounds like murder.
Is it really murder if it's delicious?
Ah, vore enthusiasts be like. So, fluid rendering, huh? So there's a couple of things here, right? Number one is that there's no staining on anything, right? Like, they've been in the chocolate goop. The truck isn't stained. They aren't stained. There is a separation of physicality between the characters and the liquid that they're immersed in, right? Like, the liquid is there, but it doesn't have any actual physical effect on them, which, again, very video game. Because that's usually how it is in video games, right? Like, it's like, at most, you'll get a texture applied to your character of wetness, but
Pomni.
there is a strict separation between the objects and the thing.
How about poor us? We're one tanker away from being...
Like, they're not interacting physically, but their physics collision is sort of like calculating differently because they are in a volume which is defined as a liquid kind of thing.
Being Augustus Gloop.
And that sort of translates also to the way the tanker is moving, right? Right, like, because it's not moving like
everybody
a tanker.
Okay?
It's moving like this,
No. Oh, man.
almost like a rigid volume.
Poor Pomni. I hope she's all right.
Poor Pomni.
Yeah, like, there's a rigidity to the way that it's moving in the liquid that's just, again, it's that uncanniness, right? Like, it's that vibe of this isn't quite right. Which it seems like the show is playing with deliberately, right? Like, playing with the uncanniness of... That's the thing, the same thing about, like, Gmod mechanics, right? Like, it's playing with the uncanniness of... Well, video game objects in this case, but also just of 3D objects in many ways.
Augustus Gloop.
What's that? Do my eyes deceive me? A delicious gift from within the kingdom gates?
Muppet-ass motherfucker with his his pinball eyes. Let me have a closer look at your Because his lip sync is interesting as well. Because there's a combination of things happening here. On the one hand, he is kind of moving like a Muppet, right? He is kind of moving like, I guess, like the little sort of the Martians from Sesame Street, you know, yip, 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 nope, 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 ring, like that style of like hand puppet when there's a hand inside of a sock that's just sort of controlling his lip flaps, in the sense that he's not really doing complex lip syncing, right? His mouth is just kind of opening and closing.
My eyes deceive me?
Like, not really closing fully until he does like a sound like a me. But then on top of that Muppet-like vibe, you see the way that as he's anticipating that slide motion from here to over here, he leads with his lips. Right? The lips begin to extend first, and then the body follows. Same thing when he's moving back to the right, actually. The mouth sort of does it first, and then he follows. There's something interesting about the way his eyes are rendered, too. Because they're sort of on stalks, right? Like a slug. A little bit. But they also just sort of seem to be appended to the top of the volume. And they're sort of... The animators seem happy to just let things clip through them, right? Because the point is not to maintain, like, a physical coherence to the character, so much as to maintain his eye line, and to give him that vibe of being like... of, like, being a thing that's made of gloop, right? Like, a thing that's wobbling and sort of crossing over into its own volume. Oh, that's interesting.
Buddy, you're not food, we're not candy, we're none of that! You don't want to eat us!
Oh, not candy? How am I expected to eat something that's not made of candy? I'm sorry.
Seems to miss the big gloopy monsters.
Who are you, anyway?
That's an interesting... Interesting aura around Jax here. It almost looks like a compositing error.
Who are you, anyway?
I am the fudge.
They're having so much fun messing with the way he's put together. Fudge. Here's one of the eyes bouncing off his volume. And you can see them doing a bunch of, like, inflating and deflating the eyes as well to emphasize his expression. And as he's, like, melting away here, the way that one eye kind of stays behind and follows after.
But I was banished by that.
Almost Caine-like in the way that they play with the eyes. Like, he basically juggles his eyes over as he, like, drops through.
That rotten princess after I ate too many of the delicious townfolk.
Very Caine-like, actually, in his approach to the physicality of what he's doing.
Oh, they were so delicious. Sometimes I can hear them calling to me.
Oh, God. That just sounds like murder.
Is it really murder if it's delicious? Answer me that.
You make a great point.
No, bad point.
Why don't you leave this to me before I start thinking your hair looks like licorice?
Jax!
Oh, wow, it kinda does.
Stop!
Well, Mr. Fudge, you seem like an upstanding guy with real noble goals.
Oh, I'm not. If you knew what I did in my free time, oh, you'd be sickened.
As I was saying, I happen to know a way into the kingdom walls, if you'd be willing to help us out in return.
He does it again. The little thing of, like, attaching the object to the volume of the hand.
If you'd be willing to help us out in return.
Hey, when did you...
Shut up, Licorice Hair.
Here, have it with this.
Oh, you must be some kind of master of unlocking things. Come to free me from my outdoor prison.
That's me. All we need you to do is help us bring some dirty bandits to justice.
Well, speaking of which... Again, very video game protagonist-y, right? Like a Baldur's Gate 3 protagonist who's already pickpocketed the plot-relevant item off the NPCs or the other characters, and who's now doing persuasion checks to secure an advantage in, like, sequence breaking.
I saw the Reaper wink at me.
Wait, what just happened?
You want to try helping out at all? Or are you still... Hey, you okay?
No.
No.
You want to talk about it?
What is there to talk about?
I don't just want to leave you here.
Why not? I don't matter in the slightest. I'm nothing. My life, my memories, my friends. It's all fake.
This may seem weird, but I think I know the feeling. Well, maybe not the exact feeling, but feeling like you're nothing is kind of normal. I mean, people even feel like that in the world I came from. But you still care about your buddies up there, don't you? I'm sure they still care about you.
What does it matter? What do we have when you people leave? We're just obstacles. Created to be defeated and forgotten.
Well, you don't have to be. The circus, the place I'm from, well, I'm originally from somewhere else. But if it has to be my home, maybe it can be yours too. The people there are interesting, at the very least. Maybe you could be somebody real there.
Why are you trying to cheer me up? How does this benefit you at all?
I guess I just don't want you to feel like you're nothing. I don't want anybody to feel like that.
But I'm not even a real person. Would I even belong?
I'm sure you wouldn't belong any less than me.
That might be terribly true.
And I could use a friend.
A friend? You're a strange little character. Suppose I could give it a try.
So is this what we're driving at here? Because it certainly seems to be... It certainly seems to be the gesture that the show has, right? In terms of what we talked about, like derealization, feeling like you're not real, feeling like the place you're in is not real, feeling like you're surrounded by other people who don't treat you like you're real. Jax. Like, Jax certainly doesn't treat anyone else in the circus like they're real, right? That's sort of his thing, is like, none of this is real, none of this matters. Like, complete descent into nihilism, right? And Ragatha, she's sort of more present, she's trying to play along with the things that are happening, but she's also that thing of like, well, it doesn't matter what's happening. Doesn't matter. Like, everything's okay, fine. Like, conflict isn't real. Like problems aren't real. We'll just grit our teeth and go along with it. Kinger is deeply disassociated from his own reality. It sort of seems to be where they're pointing, right? It seems to be pointing at this idea of like, how do you know that you're real, right? Like, what does it mean to be real, right? Sort of very Descartes in that sense, I suppose. I think, therefore I am. That's sort of the argument that Pomni is making here, right? That, okay, you're not real, but if you can have feelings, if you can interact, if you can give a shit, right? I think, therefore I am. In this case, I guess I feel, therefore I am. Certainly that seems to be the characterization we're doing with Pomni, right? Is that everyone else in the circus has already sort of settled into their coping mechanisms, right? They've already settled into like various forms of acceptance of the situation that they're in. And Mr. Gummy Alligator here is now going through that total despair. And then finally Pomni has someone she can relate to, right? Someone who's still, like, he's coping with the fact that he's not real. But he's still depressed by it. Right? He's still sad by the fact that he's not real. It still upsets him that he's not real, right? It still hurts that he's not real, which is the thing that doesn't seem true for any of the other people in the digital circus, right? Like, again, they've already moved on to coping, which means they've moved past grief. He's the only one who's grieving his loss of identity, which is like, I think that's why Pomni can sort of feels that relationship to him, because she's also still kind of in the grieving stage, right? And the visual language is very literal here. I do love this walk cycle as well. It's very good. Because it's not a natural walk cycle, right? Like, it's keeping Pomni in, like, this 3/4 view arranged towards the camera. She's not, like, you would expect her to align her whole head towards him, but instead it's, like, aligned towards the camera in a way that sort of flattens her a little bit. But anyway, like, the thing that's happening is literally she's approaching him, right? Like, he's miserable and sad and feels very, very alone right now, and that attracts her, right? You can see her inching and trying to edge closer to him in an attempt to relate to him. There's some interesting acting going on with him as well, right? Like, he's like, there's nothing to talk about. Everything's fake. Nothing is real. But the thing he does, again, this thing about object work, right? I am nothing, and yet he holds on to the hat. This thing which is also nothing, right? This thing that also isn't real, that also doesn't exist, and yet he holds on to it, and it's clearly a source of comfort for him. Right? The way that he's, like, clutching it and holding on. You can see it in the way his fingers flex around it as well, right? As Pomni talks, you can see he grips it tighter.
Feeling like you're nothing is...
Feeling like you're nothing. When she verbalizes the thing that's inside him, grasps tighter onto the hat.
kind of normal. I mean, people even feel like that in the world I came from. But you still care about your buddies up there, don't you? I'm sure they still care about you.
What does it matter?
It's an interesting argument from Pomni, right? Like, so long as you care, who cares if you're real, right? So long as you care.
What do we have when you people leave? We're just obstacles. Created to be defeated and forgotten.
Well, you don't have to be. The circus, the place I'm from, well, I'm originally from somewhere else. But if it has to be my home, maybe it can be yours too.
Just a moment.
If it has to be my home, maybe it can be yours too.
I'm not bringing up Undertale for no reason here, by the way. Because Undertale sort of plays with those same ideas, right? Undertale plays with, like, that's one of the arguments that the original game is making, right? Is that just because it's not real doesn't mean you have to be a nihilist about it, right? Like, it doesn't mean you have to not give a shit, right? It's playing with this idea of the video game protagonist as this, you're doing stuff just to see what would happen, right? Like, why are you murdering all of the NPCs in the video game? Well, just to see what would happen. Which is like, that's a thing I know that people used to do in Dark Souls, right? Like, people have done Dark Souls playthroughs where it's like, we kill every single NPC we possibly can. Why? To see what would happen. Like, can the game's logic account for this NPC being destroyed? And you see that, like, ironically, this is something that people do with Undertale and Deltarune a lot, right? Like, where they play with this thing of, like, what if you kill this character but not that one? What if you kill that one but not this one? What if you kill these 5 characters but not that one? What if you kill these characters out of order? Like, what if you do this? Like, what if you break the logic? What happens? Where people are doing things just to see what would happen. Again, as we talked about, Jax seems to sort of be playing that part a little bit in the Amazing Digital Circus, where it's like, yeah, let's just do something completely fucked up and stupid, because, like, see what would happen. It would be epic, right? Let's just do it to see what would happen. That's a thing that Undertale plays with, right? Like, and it plays with that question of, like, yeah, sure, they're video game characters, but does that mean that it's necessarily good to just brutalize them for your own enjoyment? Like, what does it mean to engage with these fictional worlds? The Digital Circus seems to be taking it in a more existentialist direction, like, more specifically a thing about, like, what if you feel like the world you're living in isn't real, right? Like, what if you feel like the people around you aren't real? What if you feel that nothing you're living through is real? What do you do about that? Like, how do you find a sense of how do you find yourself, right? Like, how do you establish any sense of identity in that situation? That seems to be what this scene is driving at. Again, who knows where this is going? I haven't seen it yet, but... And it's a good question from Crocodile Boy here. It's like, how does this benefit you? Right? I guess I just don't want you to feel like you're nothing. I don't want anyone to feel like that. Empathy, right? It doesn't benefit her, but she has empathy about it.
But I'm not even a real person. Would I even belong?
I'm sure you wouldn't belong any less than me. And I could use a friend.
A friend? You're a strange little character.
Character, indeed.
Suppose I could give it a try. All I ask is that we don't tell the lads about this. They're a couple of bright-eyed yobbos, and I don't want to drag them down with me.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's your name, by the way?
Gummigoo.
Gummigoo.
Wow, that's...
Yeah, I've seen the fan art. You sure do. You sure do that.
just about as dumb as my name.
What do you have in mind in terms of getting us out of here?
I don't know. Maybe some kind of glitch with the truck's collisions. I'm not really sure how we could.
Set up and payoff. Because we set it up with the boxes in Pomni's bedroom. And, like, if you think of the... very good.
Alright. I'm just throwing stuff at the wall here. If this doesn't work, we can try something else.
Watch them clip through the floor into an even deeper level of existential hell.
You're the expert here.
I'm really not. But let's see how it goes. I just realized this might be a little violent.
Okay, it worked. I do like that reality in this universe seems to be composed to some extent of the fucking teapot.
Gotta say, this is a lot more anticlimactic than I was hoping it'd be.
Yeah, because you were just hoping for a cool explosion and an epic clip montage you can put on YouTube to your 482 subscribers, and then you leave, like, transphobic garbage in my YouTube comments.
What were you hoping for?
You know, like one big final battle, bloodshed, death, chaos, whatever.
Are you sure they disappeared? It wasn't that they fell off or something?
I can't say for sure, but yes, definitely.
It's not like the boss to vanish with a clown. Very unusual.
Well, that's concerning.
Well, if worst comes to worst, we could always ask Caine to find her.
I'm more worried she's having another horrible experience. She still seems really upset about what happened yesterday. I don't think she really likes me that much.
Yeah, no shit, Ragatha. She also feels guilty towards you is the other thing, but she doesn't like any of you that much, Ragatha. She's known you for like 24 hours. And she's just been dragged away from her reality. But you're making this all about like whether or not she personally likes you, right?
It's a lot for anybody to go through. Don't take it too personally. I remember how long it took for you to adjust.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised you remember that.
Remember what?
Do you guys have a second truck that flies?
Yeah. Wait, no, we don't. No, not at all.
Down I go.
Couldn't keep it in, could we?
Very good.
What's all this stuff?
Pomni! Are you okay? Well, what happened?
Yeah, I'm fine. I made a new friend.
Boss, where have you been? We got fudged.
You don't want to know. Good to see you, lads.
Why are there 2 bad guy trucks?
This one's full of syrup too.
Oh, yeah. Suppose it is. Well, you don't suppose my mates here could take this one back to the village, could they?
I guess. Since there's 2 of them, there'd be no real harm.
I'm so unbelievably disappointed right now.
Well, maybe there'll be blood, death, and violence in the next adventure.
Ha 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 ha, how wholesome.
Uh-oh, yeah. This is Gummigoo. He's gonna come back to the circus with us.
Oh, is that allowed?
His reality was kind of completely shattered. I feel like it was the least I could offer him. Opposed to just leaving him behind.
Hey, that's good of you, Pomni.
Let's take this dumb truck to the dumb kingdom, I guess.
Thanks to you brave knights, our kingdom will once again thrive. I'm sure it was no easy task.
You have no idea.
Farewell, brave knights. Have fun executing that bandit fella.
Yes, that is what we're doing.
Oh, hey, maybe I didn't leave the gate unlocked for nothing after all.
What? I thought he was dead. You still did that?
Okay, wait. You did what now?
Well, love to help you again sometime. Bye!
Welcome back, my little hard-shelled hamburgers.
So this is the circus, huh? I gotta get used to this.
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I know you guys love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen? Well, I'm gonna go drink water. It's been a while since I've done that.
That goes for you too, chat. Yeah, that figures.
Help you again sometime. Bye!
Welcome back, my little hard-shelled hamburgers.
So this is the circus, huh? I gotta get used to this.
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, man.
Welcome back, my little hard-shelled hamburgers.
Hard-shelled hamburgers, huh?
So this is the circus, huh? I gotta get used to this.
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait.
Yeah, that figures.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
I know you guys love your NPCs, but I know you guys love your NPCs.
Again, that little thing of, like,
Love your
grabbing the cane. I don't know.
NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen? Well, I'm gonna go drink water. It's been a while since I've done that.
Again, that thing of, like, Pomni tries to form some kind of connection to make some, like, she finds someone she can finally relate to who seems to be responding to the unreality of everything in a way that's comprehensible to her, that she can have empathy with, and then it just disappears, right? Because it's not real, because nothing is real. She's going through his, like derealization in a horribly fast way.
Well, I'm gonna go
And I say derealization, I should say, I'm not a psychiatrist. Derealization is a specific psychiatric term. It has some pretty specific meanings. I'm using it very colloquially. So, like, before you start using it yourselves, maybe look up the exact definition.
Drink water! It's been a while since I've done that.
Sheesh, I thought he'd never leave. I'm really sorry about that, Pomni. At least you tried. You know, he might be back in a future adventure. I know Caine sometimes likes to reuse NPCs.
Got everything ready.
Hey, you at least want to join us for Kaufmo's funeral? We like to have a little funeral service to remember the people who abstract.
What was that reaction?
Service to remember the people who abstract. This one just got pushed around a bit with your arrival and everything.
It's the least we can do to honor their memory.
Oh man, I always think I'm prepared for these things, but then you set up the picture and, well, I'm already breaking.
Kinger? Zubul? The one that's made of ribbons? Ragatha. No Jax, though. Gangle! Right, that's the name. Again, that theme of... yeah. So this is Pomni finding something, right? Something that she can kind of hold on to. That whatever else, like whatever bizarre unreality is happening, there is at least that, right? A group of people who process grief, right? For whom this is real, in the sense that they've just lost someone that they care about. And then that is the thing that can anchor her, even though having Gummigoo just deleted like that. Jesus. But yeah, it's like, it's in the same way that, like, Gummigoo gave a shit, right? Like, Gummigoo seemed to care about what he was going through in a way that it was certainly kind of hard to parse that the rest of the characters were, because they're all so deep in coping. And it's once they show care, right? Like, once they show that they would give a shit if Pomni just vanished, that she died, that she derealized, that there is this, okay, now there's something to hold on to, right? And you can see that in her acting. Because Pomni's default state of being is shoulders up, head down, hands defensively in front of the chest. Right? It's this making yourself small, very unsteady, uncertain. And then when she starts to feel connection with the others, you get that visible relaxation. I still really love those little, very cute little walking animations. Jack Hawkins. Did I look him up last time? Okay, it's probably not that Jack Hawkins. I don't think the guy who did the voice for Gummigoo here did the also was in the Bridge on the River Kwai. Yeah, no, Baldur's Gate 3, there we go. That makes a little more sense. Let's see. Okay, not a super long thing here, but let's see. A bunch of, looks like, yeah, some video game voice work. He apparently played Steve Irwin in the Freshy Canal rap battles in 2020. Don't know what that is, but makes sense, I guess. Elf combat vocals and voiced a Shadow in Baldur's Gate 3. King Arthur Legends Rise. Is that a video game? Oh, it's a fantasy short. Okay. Where he was also with Elsie Lovelock. I see. Two Hat Jack, I guess. Audiobooks, yeah. Okay. Interesting. Let's see. Vera Tan. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's another fucking... Goes all the way back to 2009. A whole bunch of TV and video game voice roles. Not a lot I've heard about, but then many things I haven't heard about. She's in Zenless Zone Zero. Couple more video games. She's done a ton of work, though. Yeah, a bunch of TV series. Looks like... Hang on, is that... Oh! She was in, like, a Donghua adaptation of AFK Arena. Interesting. Let's see. Hamish Plagamarsh. Huh. Okay, let's see. TV series, podcasts. Not a lot on there. Nothing I know, but goes back to 2013, so... This is a person who's been working for a goddamn long time. let's see. Let's see. Lyle Rath was Smiling Friends guy. Right, I remember. Again, that thing about how a walk cycle can inform who a character is. So, let's go back to... Let's go back to the cold-blooded murder.
I know you guys love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen?
Again, we're doing these things where Caine clearly has some kind of worry about the nature of this little reality that he's built.
Love your NPCs, but if I start losing track of who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen?
Which begs the question of, like, well, what's the difference, though? Exactly. Which is that thing of, like, it's that tension that's always inherent in these questions of existentialism, right? Like, of, how do I know that I'm real? Right? Like, how do I know if anyone else is real? If anything or anyone else is real? Which then leads into the much more uncomfortable question of, how do I know that I'm real, right? What makes Pomni real in a way that Gummigoo wasn't, right? Why wasn't Gummigoo real? Why is that not enough to be real? That he had feelings, that he actually had an existential crisis about the nature of who he is, right? So why does that make him less of a person than Pomni is? And again, is the show actually going to fully explore that? Is it actually going to engage with that question? Or is it just, because the tonal thing, right? There's a tonal thing to it where the conflict is resolved, everyone's back home, there's no tension or foreshadowing.
So this is the circus, huh? I gotta get used to this.
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
And then we just kill him, right? And that has the tenor and vibe of a joke, right? Like, that's like, haha, Pomni really thought, Pomni, you're not gonna have friends that way. Oh, silly girl. Like, we're killing him as a joke, right? Like, it's all set up for a punchline. It is really funny. Yes, it is. It is a funny joke. But it's it's that thing of, like, okay, so does that mean that we're examining this question of, like, who's a person and who's an NPC? Like, who's real and who's not? Are we examining that question, or are we just using it as the setup to a punchline, right?
If who's a human and who's an NPC, who knows what could happen? Well, I'm gonna go drink water. It's been a while since I've done that.
Right? Like, are we setting this up to be something that's a meaningful question, or is it just we're playing with we're just doing jokey jokes, right? It's in some ways it's the same problem that Hell of a Boss sometimes has a little bit, that it's that tension between wanting to examine these characters with, like, an attention to their reality, and to their emotional complexity and their interiority, versus we want to do stupid fucking jokes, right? Like, we want to just, like, take the piss, and we want to have fun. And those things can be in tension. Not always. Like, oftentimes comedy is a great way to explore these things, but they can be in tension with each other. And so I wonder about that. I guess the question is whether he comes back, I suppose. Like, if he shows up again, that's when Pomni can we can begin to have conversations about that kind of personhood, and Pomni has to reckon with the fact that a new iteration of the character would probably not remember her or know her. Like, that's when we can sort of reckon with the effects of having something like that done to you. Of being treated as so disposable by reality, by whatever mad god runs the world. If he never comes back, then it's just a one-off joke, and maybe I'm reading too much into it. I don't know.
Sheesh, I thought he'd never leave. I'm really sorry.
Let me have a look at that walk cycle for a sec.
Sheesh, I thought he'd never leave. Sheesh, I thought he'd never leave. Sheesh, I thought he'd never leave.
Oh, yeah. It keeps the zoom level. Those are different bits. Which parts are consistent? I guess the main body? The one arm? The fact that there is like a wing thing? Yeah. Interesting. So she just kind of remixes. Is that just because this is no longer the pilot and they finalized her character design? Or... wonder about that.
I'm really sorry about that, Pomni. At least you tried. You know, he might be back in a future adventure. I know Caine sometimes likes to reuse NPCs.
So are you telling her that, Ragatha, to cheer her up, or to make her like you? At least you tried! Like, is that the helpful thing to say here? Minor thing, but I do like the reflection on Ragatha's eye button.
You tried. You know, he might be back in a future adventure. I know.
You could do something expressive with that. I think you could do a lot of expressive things with the reflections on that eye button.
Sheesh, I thought he'd never leave. I'm really sorry about that, Pomni. At least you tried. You know, he might be back in a future adventure.
I also still really like how they do Ragatha's talk animation. Like, what a way to do it. It's like these objects that are attached to the front of her rig that sort of crossfade between themselves to sort of smooth out the transitions. And then occasionally we do that, right? Like, you can see that little bit of secondary motion. So we sort of swap between these very stiff mouth shapes that sort of cycle through the same way that you would see on like a stop motion character. And then we also do like much more traditional mouth flap animation to lip sync for her. It's a really interesting compromise between mimicking the sort of stop motion figure that she's sort of designed after versus taking advantage of like the smoothness of full character animation.
Got everything ready. Hey, you at least want to join us for Kaufmo's funeral?
You can also see it on Pomni, right? Like that
It's for Kaufmo's funeral?
funeral. Like that funeral. Like you can see like the little eye motions, the way that she's processing funeral. What do you mean funeral?
Funeral? We like to have a little funeral service to remember the people who abstract.
So what's that for you, Jax? It's like you had an emotion there for a second, a feeling, like you cared about something for a split second. And then you got annoyed that you cared.
This one just got pushed around a bit with your arrival and everything.
It's the least we can do to honor their memory.
This is kind of also the first real thing that has happened since Pomni came to the circus, right? Well, besides poor Gummigoo and his existential breakdown, this is like the first real thing, right? Like this is the first thing that the first activity they have done, which is an activity that human beings do. Like a funeral for the departed. That's the first human thing that they've done together. Versus, like, all of the fucking madness and video game bullshit that Caine has put them through up until this point. This is like... It's also the first time they're really doing something or partaking in an activity outside of Caine's direct control, right? He does not prompt them to do this. He does not set up a game around them doing this. In fact, they don't do it until he leaves, right? Like, this is something that's... It feels more like a reclamation of identity, right? Like of agency. To do something like this. Something which in many ways doesn't make a goddamn bit of sense. Like, because they're treating Kaufmo like he was real, right? Like he was a real human being. And they're responding to his existence and his departure like it's real. And I can understand how that's grounding for Pomni.
Oh man, I always think I'm prepared for
even
these
if it's
things,
grief, right? Like
you
even
set
if
up the
it's sad.
picture and, well, I'm already breaking.
I can definitely see how that's a way to find a sense of connection. I guess it raises the question of whether people who derealize are gone, or if it's something that a person could, as it were, come back from. The scale of the interior is also interesting to me. Because, like, you look at the circus, and it's like... Look how small they are. Look how absolutely enormous this fucked up, bizarro dream world is, and how tiny they are. Again, emphasizing that powerlessness. That sense of being these very small things that are overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the space that they exist inside of. I mean, yeah, it's a play space, right? It's all toys. In the same, like, which would cast Caine essentially as the 4-year-old, right? Like the 4-year-old who has this complicated game that they're playing with rules that they won't explain. It's sort of like, it's not like, what if Toy Story was existential horror, right? Like, what if Woody, instead of being Andy's best friend, woke up every day in a land of horror where Andy forces him to go through all of these, like, now you're in space, now you're underwater, now you're in a submarine, now you're in computer world, now there's lasers, now there's monsters, now there's guns. Like, it's sort of that, right? Like, what if Andy was a mad Lovecraftian god putting his poor toys through, like, constant escalations of total unreality, playing games that often involve violence, right? That's the thing that Toy Story sort of never addressed, but, like, the fact that so much of the way that Andy plays with his toys is he makes them fight each other and do violence upon one another. It's something Toy Story just kind of never brings up, because, like, that might be making it too dark, but, like, but then they have it with Sid, right? Like, in the first movie, Sid, who plays wrong, right? Oh, he treats his toys poorly. He does the wrong thing by taking them apart and, like, doing, like, various things to them. As, like, I mean, he doesn't treat them in any more of a dehumanizing way than Andy does. Like, really. I always thought that those movies were kind of mean to Sid, because it's like, hang on, that kid doesn't know that his toys are alive. As of course he treats them like objects. You are objects. You're not real. It's like, what do you mean that he's evil for doing that? Like, he's just fucking playing with you. What do you mean he's playing wrong? Fuck off. You're a commercial product, motherfucker. There's 5 billion more like you rolling off the assembly line. And again, that's not the point the movie is making, right? Like, that's not the point of it. But it is one of those things that, like, if the moment you think through the implications of what the movie is saying about toys and how to play with them, because, like, I mean, it is sort of, that is a criticism you can have of Toy Story that I think is very real, is that it is object fetishism, right? Like, Toy Story is a very commercial fantasy of childhood. That childhood is in very large part defined by and bound up in the commercial objects that you have. And the more pristine you keep those objects, right? Like, the more pure your childhood is. Andy has this very pure childhood because he has his, like, that's the fucking plot of the second movie, is that Woody is kept in perfect condition almost, right? Like, he's like an almost pristine first edition thing. Like, that's the value of the... They are movies that have, like, a very sort of object, very American, very object-oriented, very commercial outlook, and not really an outlook that values creativity so much. Like, you're not supposed to be creative. Like, when you have your Woody toy, you're supposed to play with it the way that you're supposed to play with toys. You're definitely not supposed to modify it. You're definitely not supposed to, like... And the movies do this repeatedly. It's like, no, you have to play nice with your toys. It's like, no, you don't. You have to play with your toys. And it's a very adult thing to look at the way that a child is playing with their toy and say, that's wrong. Right? That's not the right way to play with a toy. The right way to play with a toy is like they do in the commercial on television. That's the right way to play with the toy, where you're holding the toy and you're brushing the toy's hair, and the toy looks nice, and the toy has all of its parts and its things, and it has the batteries in, and it's fully... But tearing a doll apart and putting it back together wrong, it sounds like a fun game to me. It's, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's entirely off topic, but it is the toy thing that sort of gets me here. Because again, there's that question, like, and again, I don't know how much to assign to... I talked in the early bits about Caine's apparent nervousness, right? Like, the relative desperation he has.
No. So wait! I'm testing out a new AI in this one! It should be 57 times more immersive!
Like, it's interesting to me that Zooble apparently can just say no. Like, I don't want to play, and then Caine can't force them?
Ooh, a new AI. You don't want to mess with the new AI, Zuby?
Yeah, no. Well, sounds fun. What do you think, Pomni?
I wonder, I guess their parts changed because they got torn apart by the little critters in the first episode. But I do like that these are clearly not very good parts for walking. Because, whoop.
Pomni?
So, our entire existence here is just LARPing. Well...
Why are you all just standing there? The Candy Canyon Kingdom needs you now!
No thanks, I'm trying to quit.
Yeah, I don't know how much meaning to assign to it. Like, because Caine seems at once all-powerful, but also weirdly kind of on the back foot all the time. Like, who's he trying to entertain if not himself?
I know Caine sometimes likes to reuse NPCs.
Got everything ready.
Hey.
There's also the implication of, like, testing out a new AI, that the reason why Gummigoo had the capacity for self-realization and awareness is because he was testing out a new AI, something like that. But it also implies that it's a testing procedure in the sense of he's using them as beta testers for something. Like, he's developing whatever this is, this software, and these are his beta testers that he's using to try and make it... Like, is it a thing of, like, oh, Caine is out in the real world and he's a struggling developer who's, like, got the publisher breathing down his neck and needs to make 14 quadrillion trillion into billion dollars with his next release, or else. And so this is just the solution that he's come up with, is just abduct human souls and use them to test his video games for him? I don't know. Could be something along those lines. I guess we will have to find out. Huh. I like that we don't hear anything about Kaufmo here. As the viewers. Like Pomni presumably hears a lot of stuff about who Kaufmo was and what he does. Or what he did. But as the viewers, we're sort of denied that, because that's not really the thing that matters.
Well, I'm already breaking.
So Kaufmo was a clown, he derealizes and he's gone. On the same day as a jester shows up. Again, no idea if that's relevant or meaningful, but... Like, one reading of that is that Pomni shows up because she needs to take on the role that Kaufmo filled. Kaufman. I could shoot you from Stuttgart. God damn it. One question I have about Jax is, what happens to him if someone pushes back on him by the same means that he uses? Like, how would he respond to someone dealing back to him what he deals out to others? Hi, Artemis. You want to climb up on me now? Okay, well, yeah, no, okay, all right. Because, like, usually with, like, bully characters, right? Like, if they can dish it out, but they can't take it. I can't help but wonder what happens to Jax if someone starts bullying and brutalizing him the way that he does others. Like, does he have a way to push back against that at all? Does he have those tools, or is he only able to do this because no one else in the circus gives him meaningful pushback at all? And then what's that reaction about the funeral? Like a mixture of sadness. Like he very quickly goes through sadness. Like he has an emotion, he has a feeling for a second. And then he rolls his eyes, and then he gets mad. Okay, Artemis wants to be on my desk right now. Hang on. Yeah, hi, baby. Hi, baby doll. Don't step on the keyboard, please. Please do not step on the keyboard. Keyboard no steppy. No steppy keyboard. Are you laying down now? Are you good? Are you gonna leave the keyboard alone, please? So long as I pet you. Okay, so long as I have to do the rest of this one-handed then. And not for the fun reasons. Like, Jax clearly has a reaction to it where his response to the funeral is like, well, fuck that, I'm not gonna be a part of that, right? Like, this is, for whatever reason, that to him is not a thing that's worth his time, right? Whether that's because it requires vulnerability from him. Because, like, normally you would expect a character like Jax, oh, I'll show up to the funeral and I'll spend the whole time being an asshole, right? I'll spend the whole time being a jackass and sneering at the others and making jokes and acting like I'm too good. Don't step on... I have a hotkey that turns off the recording, Artemis. Please don't do that. That would be the normal response, right? But instead, he's like, I won't be there, right? Like, I won't even go. I won't even try. I will not even be present. I won't even participate in this activity. And that avoidance is interesting from him. Because that sort of points to the idea that funerals and abstraction is more upsetting to him. It means something more to him emotionally. It's something that maybe he can't just roll his eyes and pretend to be better at then. Like, once the picture is set up, maybe Ragatha isn't the only one who might break. I don't know. I don't know. I guess there's a way to find out, but I feel like I haven't really scratched the surface of this episode yet. The trouble with a lot of this episode is that so much of what happens here feels like something that I would have a lot more to say about if I came back to it after having, well, presumably after having watched the whole series, but at least after having seen a few more episodes. One thing that's a bit interesting about this scene with Gummigoo is like, yeah, that's him, but also they're certainly managing the lighting in such a way that, like, you can see that they're not the same, right? They don't have the same actual skin tones. This one is much redder and warmer, whereas Gummigoo himself is more blue and colder. Right, you can see he's practically orange here, but over there he's completely yellow. Which, again, I wonder if, like, the extent to which that's just about emphasizing the derealization that he's feeling. Like, the fucking bizarreness. There's also the thing of their colors are reversed. No, hang on. Like, why does that one have the yellow arm over there? Gummigoo recognizes this as himself, right? Like, as a version of him. Oh, right, not a mirror. It's not a mirror. Well, it is a mirror, but it's not a mirror. That's why. Yeah, the colors are more interesting here, I guess. How much of it is lighting and how much of it is meant to be? Mainly the question I'm pondering is like, is that because they are two instances of the same model, or is one the next? Let's think about like Caine was talking about how he was developing a new AI, and this is like clearly like a dev room debug room kind of situation underneath the main game map. The extent to which it's the same exact thing, or if one is like an iterative development on the other, as in, if that one was activated, would it have a different set of features or a different personality than this one, because it's the next iteration of the development of whatever this NPC game world thing is. Because a lot of it might just be cinematography, right? Like, these guys, the characters that are alive have these sharp, bright edge lights on them, right? Whereas the characters that are dead, air quotes, that are not active, you can see they still have the highlights, but they don't have that edge lighting that sort of brings them to life and makes them stand out in contrast from the rest of the scene. In the same way. Now I'm just looking at animation minutiae, like how they animated the breaking of the thing, which seems to be they just mesh replaced, I guess. And it is completely hollow. It is completely hollow. It's not actually a solid stick, I see.
You want to try helping out at all? Or are you still... Hey, you...
Again, we have that orb thing, right? Like the orb with all the reflections and shit inside of it. That 90s thing.
You okay?
No.
You want to talk about it?
What is there to talk about?
I don't just want to leave you here.
Why not? I don't matter in the slightest. I'm nothing. My life, my memories, my friends. It's all fake.
The other video game thing is the way that we get the setup, right? Like, it's like the princes of the Candy Kingdom sends them off on a quest with this Mad Max murder rig. And they literally are doing Mad Max shit, because it is the murder rig from Fury Road and then the milk truck from Fury Road. And then we set up this thing of like...
Do you think your mum's gonna pull through if we get all this back to the village?
I'm sure she will. This much syrup would save hundreds of people.
We won't know for sure until we get back to the village. She's a fighter, though. She taught me everything I know.
We're setting up for this classic video game binary moral system conflict, right? Like, where it's like the person who has sent you on the quest turns out to be actually the bad guy, and now, brave heroes, you get the option to acquire light side points by actually siding with the oppressed whatever, right? That sort of seems to be the setup for the video game scenario that we're playing here. And then it all goes to hell. Right? Like it all falls apart when, by the way, Ragatha, whatever happened with that hole in your chest? It all goes to hell when Pomni clips out of reality, right? Like she clips outside of the narrative of the thing that's happening, and then it all breaks down. And it all gets resolved essentially by glitching NPCs into a position where they're not supposed to be able to be.
More anticlimactic than I was hoping it'd be.
What were you hoping for?
You know, like one big final battle, bloodshed, death, chaos, whatever.
Right, and that's the disappointment that Jax is framing here. Is like he's disappointed that it didn't play out according to the way that a video game narrative is supposed to play out, right?
Couldn't keep it in, could we?
Also interesting that he vomits exactly the same way that she does. Again, that question of like what makes a person, right? Like they seem to have a similarly functioning biology for sure.
What's all this stuff?
Pomni! Are you okay? Well, what happened?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, that's good of you, Pomni.
Let's take this dumb truck to the dumb kingdom, I guess.
Have fun executing that bandit fella.
Yes, that is what we're doing.
I mean, have fun executing that bandit fella. Yes, that's what we're doing. I mean, yeah, she wasn't lying, I guess. Technically, she wasn't technically lying. I guess Jax technically still has the key from that world on him as they leave. I like the portal effect a lot here, by the way. It's expressed as like this sort of wipe, right? Like this wipe between realities that's bounded by the portal itself. It's very, very effective.
What now?
Well, love to help you again sometime. Bye!
Welcome back, my little hard-shelled hamburgers.
So this is the circus, huh? I could get used to this.
Oh.
Literally, I could get used to
One of
this.
these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
I could get used to this pop. Jesus Christ. I guess the other thing about Caine's character design is... Again, is that question of, like, to what extent is the character design an expression of the person? And to what extent is it an expression of the setting? Because, like, Caine is literally... He's literally a mouth, right? Like, he's literally a consuming thing. And he literally sees through his mouth. And I don't know how much to lay in that. The idea that he literally sees through consumption. Right? Like, that there's a primary verb of him is to... He chews the scenery, that's for damn sure, but... Whether it's just meant to be absurdist and weird, or whether it's meant to be some kind of sly reflection of his interiority. Because there's an extent to which, like, the rest of the characters have a reflection of interiority in their character design. Like Pomni being the jester girl, right? Like, she's the fool in the sort of tarot card sense of the word. In the sense that she attempts to do something and then immediately has it undone in front of her in the most horrifying way you can possibly imagine. And Ragatha is a ragdoll, right? Like, soft, pliable, you know, unthreatening to anyone and everything. And Jax looks like that, right? It's like Bugs Bunny ass, kind of Sam and Max vibes. Rubber hose cartoon character, right? Like, it's that thing of... He is that level of dissociated cartoon violence avatar thing. I wonder. Because then there's the question of, like, the masks and what they mean to Gangle. And Kinger being a chess piece, quite literally, right? Like a piece in someone else's game. I don't know. I wonder. There's too many questions. There's too many... I'm sorry, I'm just kind of scrolling around looking for... Processing through... Because my mind is going in, like, 148 different directions here, right? Like, what does this mean? What does that mean? How is that connected to... And really what I'm doing is I'm just trying to parse the show. I'm not trying to decode it. I'm not trying to figure it out. I'm trying to parse it. I'm trying to parse which parts of its visual language are meaningful, right? Like, or rather, what ways its visual language is meaningful, right? Because it's all meaningful in one way or another. It's just a question of how, right? Am I meant to take the character designs of these characters as a reflection of their interiority or a reflection of the setting? Are these forms that they have been assigned simply by Caine's mysterious whims? Or are these forms that sort of emerge from something inside of themselves? More to the point, do the forms influence who they are as people, right? Like, was Ragatha a more assertive person before she was shoved into a soft-shelled ragdoll, right, that couldn't offer physical resistance to anything if she tried? Is their interiority shaped by the form that they're being pushed into, is what I wonder. Which, again, comes back to that thing of, like, the visual language of the show multiple times comes back to Pomni and her relationship with her sense of self and her reality. And her relationship with her body in particular. And this idea that she's forced into a form that is not her own, right? Like, she's forced to live in a body that does not feel like the one that she was born into, right? Like there's something wrong and unreal about the body she occupies. And I I don't know what level to read it, right? Because, like, again, going back to Hell of a Boss, I suppose, is like a lot of the character design in the Hell of a Boss, the Helliverse shows, is, like I talked about in the video I did on it, it's OC design. Like, it's original character do not steal design, right? It's character design that is informed primarily by, like, being an expression of someone's particular aesthetic fixations. And then secondarily, there are elements of, like, design on top of that, but there are many elements of that style of character design that just struggle to communicate meaning, because they seem to be there mostly to fulfill an aesthetic fixation of the creator and not so much to do storytelling for the benefit of the audience, right? That's what I talked about with, like, the toothed smile, right? Like, that so many characters in the Hell of a Boss shows have sharp teeth is like, okay, does that mean anything, or is it just because the character designer really likes sharp teeth as an aesthetic fixation, right? And I sort of have the same question about the Amazing Digital Circus. Like, are the characters' traits there because they're supposed to be meaningful parts of their characterization, or are they there because this fits the aesthetic of the world that this person is interested in exploring? Like, and that's a common thing in fiction, is like characters whose designs are not informed by interiority but by world building, right? Like, where the character design is really only meant to be an expression of the setting and not so much of the person who is in the character. That's pretty common. I'm not sure where I fall with Amazing Digital Circus yet. Like, I'm not sure. And usually it's a mixture, right? Like, it's rarely just one or the other. It's usually a mixture in some degree of the two things, right? Like there's usually a mixture. I just don't know where the mixture is with this show yet. But that's pretty normal when you've only watched 2 episodes. But anyway, I think that's, yeah, I'm in my head now, which is bad when you're recording a video because you're supposed to say your thoughts out loud instead of just running through them inside of your brain. So I think that's probably all we're getting out of this episode for now. I still can't get over the sheer number of fucking assets they would have had to create to make this show, by the way. You can, like, the knives, I would be unsurprised to learn were bought from an asset store, but like, so much of this candy truck has to have been bespoke, right? No, enough. The more I scroll, the more I keep staring at it. It's not helpful. Enough. Let's move on to episode 3. Let's do that.